Okay, get yourself ready for your restorative practice. I can't speak. Restorative practice. So get a blanket on top of your mat. Have a bolster for underneath your knees. Some blocks for underneath your feet, and a folded blanket for underneath your head. If you've got something to cover your eyes, like a eye pillow like this, then that is good to use as well, just to help you to quieten the brain. So as you know, this practice is all about just finding quietness and just giving yourself permission to relax, to lay yourself down onto the floor. Bring the blanket underneath your head and the back of your neck. Just cover your eyes, if you can, with an eye pillow or just a flannel or just something that's just going to bring a bit of darkness to your eyes. And then just stretch out your arms along the floor. And then just allow yourself to gently release into the floor. Listen to the sound of your breath as it enters and as it exits, focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate breaths. Soften the jaw and your tongue and your throat. Focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. Just allowing your body to rest into the ground. Just releasing your back into the floor. Just observe where the body is in contact with the ground and the bolster and the blocks and the blanket. Just drawing your attention inwards. Just focusing on filling the lungs evenly and allowing yourself to release into the floor with the out breath. Draw your attention into the sole of the foot, the sole of the feet. Just drawing your consciousness into the underside of the foot on both legs. Draw your attention into the sole of the foot and then consciously relax the skin and the muscle and the bone of the sole of the foot. Draw your attention to the top of the feet. Draw your attention to the top of your foot and then consciously relax the tops of the feet. Draw your attention to the top of the foot and then consciously relax the skin and the flesh and the muscles and the bone of the top of the foot. Draw your attention into your shins. And then relax the shins, allowing the shins to sink into the bed of the calf muscle. Soften the skin around the kneecaps and muscles around the knees, and then draw your attention into the thighs. Draw your attention into the fronts of the thighs and then allow the fronts of the thighs to sink in towards the backs of the thighs. Letting the legs settle into the floor. Draw your attention into the abdomen and the diaphragm region, just allowing that region to completely soften and to sink into the floor. And allow the abdomen and the diaphragm to sink into the ground. Draw your attention to the chest, observing how as you inhale the chest rises upwards and outwards, and as you exhale the chest sinks. Just allowing the chest to sink into the floor, drawing that relaxation out into the shoulders and into the upper arms and the forearms and down into the fingertips. Just allowing the arms to sink into the ground. Draw your shoulders and your upper arms and your forearms and the backs of the hands into the floor, just relaxing completely and allowing the body to find its own support. Draw your attention into your neck and your throat and your head. Just being conscious of the skin and its direction, drawing the forehead down to the nose, down to the mouth, allowing the body to completely sink into the floor. Just allowing the body to completely release into the floor. Just softening around the face, around the skull, allowing the skin of the face to stretch from the forehead down to the chin. And then when you're ready, just gently wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, bringing yourself back into this pose of basic relaxation. And then bring your feet onto the bolster, have the knees together, the feet apart, just resting. Go back into the floor. And then gently roll over onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two. And then just open your eyes, stretch the top leg out, just come back up into a seated position. Just sit yourself in cross legs for a moment. Just Observing the energy you released through your practice so far. Just from that relaxation pose, just how that picks up your energy slightly. Okay, we're going to do our mountain brook pose. So unfold your blanket just so that it's kind of eightfold like this, and then just fold it down the middle. So you've got this little blanket for your shoulders. So this is a really good pose for just, again, opening up your energy. So your shoulder blades are going to sit on the folded blanket, and then your head comes onto the floor. You just adjust the position of your holster so it stays underneath your knees, and then just rest your arms on the floor. So you might have to adjust a few times just to get the right position, so it's just the shoulder blades that are resting on the lift. You can cover your eyes, just rest your arms over your head. So as you know, as we progress into the practice, I'll speak less and less so that you can just focus on relaxation rather than listening. Apologies if you can hear drilling from downstairs, but just allow yourself to relax into the floor. And then just bring your arms to the sides of your ribs. Bend your knees, bring your feet onto the bolster, and then just roll onto your side. And then sit yourself up again. Just sit yourself in cross legs or a comfortable seated position for a moment, just observing the energy that you've released through the mountain brook pose, that release of good energy that goes from the chest and up into the head. And then just get your blanket, unfold it so that it's a long fold like this. And then we're just going to do our spinal lengthening pose. So just fold the long blanket down the center and then down the center again, just so that you've got this little mini bolster. So this is going to go into your back. If you've got hemming on your blanket, have that at the head end, so that the lower back end is going to be a bit softer. So again, staying with the bolster underneath your knees, just sit with about an inch or two away from the rolled up blanket, and then lift your chest as you come down, so guiding yourself down along the bolster, down the center of the blanket, and then get the end of the blanket and then roll it up so that it creates a little pillow for your head. And then just with the bolster underneath your knees, so you can let your feet float in the air a little, just adjust the position of the bolster underneath your knees and allow yourself to release into the floor. this pose give you a feeling of elongation in the spine. It gives you an invigorating outcome. Just picking up your energy if you've been busy all day and feeling a little fatigued. Again, remember there should be no effort involved in restorative yoga. You just allow the body to just get into gravity. Okay, and then just gently bend your knees. Just roll gently onto your side, rolling away from the folded blanket. Just rest on your side for a moment. And then stretch out your top leg, come back up into a seated position. Again, just cross legs with your hands on your knees, just observing how your energy has changed. Just listening to the sound of your breath. Okay, so just unfold your blanket, just put it in back into your eighth fold, just for your kind of blanket, sorry, for just like your pillow kind of fold, just like that. And then we're going to go into the supported child's pose, because those poses are invigorating, and while it's nice to have that invigoration, because it's the evening, you don't want to be overly stimulated. So this is a good way of just kind of bringing your energy back down, just earthing it a little. So if you've got two bolsters, use two bolsters. If you don't, then you can just use one bolster, and then you can just pile up some blocks underneath it, just so that you raise the height of your bolster a little. So if you've got two bolsters, line them up, and then have the bolster between your knees, lift up into the chest, and then just come forward, resting your abdominal region and your diaphragm on the bolster, and then just let your arms rest down to the floor. So let your elbows hang down to the floor. If your elbows touching the floor, just make sure that they're wide enough apart so that you're not supporting your weight with your arms. You're just draping yourself over the bolster. So in supported child's pose, just rest your head on one side, but don't forget to alternate the position that you rest your head from one side, one cheek to the other, just so that you give your neck an even stretch at the same time. So you swap the position of your head, just so that you stretch out your neck evenly. Just going back to just draping over the bolster. Just swap the side that you rest your head. And just one more time, just resting on the other side. then bring your hands underneath your shoulders, push yourself up into a seated position, just sitting back on your heels, again just observing your energy, just acknowledging how your energy has changed. And then just move the top bolster, have a blanket for underneath your head, and we're just going to lay ourselves down along the floor in our heart pose, just using the bolster underneath your back just to open the chest, just letting the legs rest into the floor. So you feel this big opening of the collarbone region. Rest your arms into the floor. So again, just until you're completely comfortable, and then release into the floor. Focusing on inhalations and exhalations, and relaxing into the floor. And then push your elbows into the floor, just lift yourself up. Just again, just come into cross legs, just observing your energy. And then, just for the last couple of minutes, get the bolster underneath your knees. Have the blanket from underneath your head, and we'll just end in the same way that we began, just using the bolster from underneath your knees. Just let the feet be on the floor this time, and then just rest into the ground. Just let the body relax completely into the floor. So let go of the muscles of the arms and the legs, unhooking them so that the physical body becomes heavy on the ground. But on the inside is a feeling of energetic lightness. It radiates out from the bones, radiating from the bones and into the muscles. And into the organs. And into the flesh. And into the skin. Just observing that feeling of energetic lightness. Using your in-breath and your out-breath to distribute that feeling of lightness into the toes, into the fingers, and up into the top of the head. Just inflating the body with positive energy. And when you're ready to disturb yourself, just gently wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers. And then bend your knees, bring your feet onto the bolster, have the knees together, the feet apart. And then draw your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a gentle massage on the spine. And then very gently just roll over onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position. Just a final cross legs with your hands in the masti, just a final spinal lift. Draw your breath in through your nose and down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this evening, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the reclining poses and the relaxation brings to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you have created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then very gently release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. And as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel that you have really lifted your energy, giving yourself some good positive energy to put into your evening. So thank you very much for joining me.